Hello students. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss an important topic, and that is the pancreas, which is one of the important organ of the human body. So as you can see on your screen, the male skin of the human, and which is showing the entire digestive system. Alright, but we will just focus on the location of the pancreas first. Alright, so we will first see its location, and then we will move on to its components and then to the functions as well. Alright, now, so if I just maximize this model a little bit, so you can see that this is representing the pancreas. Alright, so the location of pancreas is that it is basically situated between the limbs of the U-shaped duodenum. Alright, so this is the duodenum. And duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. So this is the, you can see that this is U-shaped. This is basically U-shaped. So that's why pancreas is situated between the limbs of U-shaped duodenum. So located between. Alright, so this is basically located between the limbs of the U-shaped duodenum. Now, we can also say that this is the stomach part. This we can see as the stomach part. Alright, we can say that this pancreas is actually situated behind the stomach as well. Alright, so pancreas is also situated behind the stomach. So this is the exact location of the pancreas in the human body. Now we will see that what are the components of pancreas and what are the different tissues present in them with their respective functions. As you can see on your screen, the model of the pancreas. Alright, so we will first note down some of the important features of pancreas first, and then we will see its labeling portion. So when we talk about pancreas, then pancreas is considered to be as a heterocrine gland. That means a gland having two different types of tissues. Alright, so one is being called as exocrine gland or exocrine tissue we can say, and the other is called as endocrine tissues. Alright, we will first see the exocrine part functions, alright, and the location as well, and then we will see the endocrine functions as well. So the exocrine portion of pancreas secretes alkaline digestive enzymes, or you can say alkaline pancreatic juice. And the juice of this pancreas, it contains various enzymes which are responsible for digestion. So contains enzymes. So we will see whatever the enzymes that are present in them. Alright, now if I just show you in the figure that what is the location of the pancreas by bringing this model in the center. So you can see that there are various components and dot-like structures and cells being present over there. Alright, so these structures which you can see, which are yellow structures, they are considered to be as acinar cells of pancreas. These are acinar cells of pancreas, and these cells are ultimately responsible for releasing the pancreatic juice. So they release pancreatic juice, which are filled with digestive enzymes. Alright, so the yellow bodied structures which you can see. Now we will just simulate all the models together like this. Alright, so we have seen that These are the acinar cells releasing pancreatic juice. Alright, now we will see that what are the different enzymes that are actually present in case of the pancreas. Pancreatic juice contains various kinds of inactive enzymes that has to be first converted into its active form. Alright, like for example, those are trypsinogen. Alright, and this trypsinogen, with the help of an enzyme called enterokinase, gets converted into its active form. This is the inactive form. Alright, this is the inactive form of the pancreatic juice, as already discussed. So this trypsinogen gets converted into its active form called trypsin. It has now become active. Now this activated form of trypsin is going to activate other enzymes. So this activates other pancreatic enzymes which are responsible for digestion. So this shows that all the pancreatic enzymes, they are released in their inactive form only. Alright, so the other enzymes include like chymotrypsinogen. Then there is amylases. Then there are lipases. All these enzymes, they have very peculiar functions in digestion. So we will also see that. Nucleases. Now let's see individually that what are the actions of these enzymes in the digestion process. So basically, if you just talk about the actions of the enzyme, the first site of action is that on the proteins, then proteoses and peptones. So these proteins, proteoses and peptones, in the presence of trypsin and alkaline medium. As I already told you that these are alkaline medium enzymes. So these are alkaline, in the presence of alkaline medium. Alright, they are going to convert these proteins, proteoses and peptones, which are the complex forms, into simpler forms which are called peptides. Alright, so this is the first thing. The second action is that on the fat. Now fats are the complex, you can say complex lipid substances. So these fats, with the help of the pancreatic enzyme lipases, gets converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Alright, and the third important enzymatic action is that of the amylase. So starch along with dextrins, alright, they are acted upon by enzyme amylase. So amylase is going to convert this complex starch, or starch is a carbohydrate molecule, or we can say it's a complex form of carbohydrate, so it's a polysaccharide. Alright, so this starch and dextrins, they are converted into simpler substances or simple disaccharide, which is called maltose. So this was the function of the exocrine part or exocrine gland of the pancreas. Now we will talk about the endocrine functions, and the endocrine functions is primarily responsible for releasing hormone. Alright, but before that we will be seeing the labeling part first in the entire pancreas, and then we will see the endocrine functions of the pancreas. So if you are going to label the different parts of the pancreas, so this you can see is considered to be as the pancreatic duct. This duct is primarily going to carry the juices that are coming from the pancreas. Alright, along with the hormones as well. Now, so we have already seen the acinar cells. So these are the acinar cells that releases the pancreatic juice. Now, these structures which you can see over here, Alright, they are considered to be as pancreatic eyelids. They are the pancreatic eyelids, which are also known as eyelids of Langerhans. Now, this eyelids of Langerhans, if we consider the endocrine part of the pancreas, so the exocrine portion was dealing with basically the pancreatic juice. Alright, that means the digestive juice. But the endocrine portion of the pancreas, it deals with the release of hormones, and those hormones are released from these pancreatic eyelids only, which are called as eyelids of Langerhans. So these eyelids of Langerhans is a part of endocrine pancreas, you can say, and consist of two types of cells. Now, what are those two types of cells? Those two types of cells are the alpha cells and the beta cells. And each of this cell is specialized to release specific hormone. So we will deal with all these things in detail now about the endocrine part. We have basically seen that the entire labelings, and yes, one thing more that we can label it out is that these structures which you can see over here, so these structures, they can be considered to be as pancreatic lobules that makes up the pancreas. So these are pancreatic lobules which are present on the entire surface of the pancreas. Alright, so we'll now see about the functioning of the alpha and the beta cells now. So let's just shift this model. One thing more which is very important, and that is this part which you can see is the head part. Alright, so head is the broader part, then this is the body part of pancreas, and this is considered to be as the tail of pancreas. So altogether we can say that pancreas body or pancreas is basically divided into three parts: the head, body and the tail. So let's talk about the endocrine part of the pancreas. The endocrine portion of pancreas, we have seen that this consists of eyelids of Langerhans. These are the cells that makes up the endocrine portion of pancreas, and this endocrine portion of pancreas that consists of eyelids of Langerhans releases hormones. Alright, so we have seen its two cells. So we'll just bifurcate those one: alpha cells and beta cells. Alright, now the alpha cell is basically responsible for secreting glucagon. So this secretes hormone glucagon, and the beta cell is basically responsible for secreting the hormone insulin. So this secretes insulin. Alright, now the alpha cell is basically responsible for acting, or you can say the hormone which is released by the alpha cell, which is glucagon, this acts on the liver cell. So if we just specifically mention the function of the hormone which is released by the alpha cells, so this glucagon, this acts on liver cells. So this is basically responsible for acting on liver cell and stimulates glycogenolysis. Genolysis. Now, what is glycogenolysis? As the word is suggesting, this is glycogen. It can be broken into two words: glycogen, and then lysis means to break. So there is breakage of glycogen into glucose. So this glycogenolysis is basically conversion of glycogen into glucose. So if the glucose is going to be formed, so the blood glucose level will be increased. So thereby this hormone is responsible. That means glucagon increases blood glucose level. On the other hand, if we talk about this insulin, now insulin is completely antagonistic to glucagon. Alright, this is completely antagonistic. This insulin is also going to act on the liver cells only and some of the cells of adipose tissues, and it will enhance the uptake of cellular glucose and its utilization. Alright, so this is basically responsible for glycogenesis. So this will form glycogen from glucose. So this insulin, if we just differentiate, so this also acts on liver and adipocytes and stimulates glycogenesis. So mind me, these are two different processes. Alright, so if I just specifically mention, so these insulin, they are responsible for stimulating glycogenesis. So in case of glycogenesis, there will be the formation of glycogen from glucose. Alright, so the blood glucose level will decrease. Alright, but here in case of this glucagon, they are responsible for glycogenolysis. So they will increase the blood glucose level. Alright, so if I just specifically again write the things in content. So glucagon here and insulin here. Alright, so glucagon is basically responsible for glycogenolysis, and this will promote gluconeogenesis. Alright, this indicates that in case of this hormone of glucagon, blood glucose level increases. So since the blood glucose level is going to increase, that's why this hormone is considered to be as hyperglycemic hormone. This is called hyperglycemic hormone. While in case of insulin, it is going to reduce the blood glucose level. So blood glucose level decreases as cellular uptake of glucose is increased. So that's why this is basically considered to be as hypoglycemic hormone. This is a hypoglycemic hormone. So this is one of the key differences between insulin and glucagon. Apart from that, this glucagon is also responsible for one another function, and that is called as gluconeogenesis. Here insulin was responsible for glyconeogenesis. Here that means conversion of glycogen into glucose. Alright, and here this is also responsible for stimulating gluconeogenesis. That means formation of glucose will be there. Alright, so this is the key differences between the hormones insulin and glucagon. Now, if there has to be a prolonged hyperglycemia, if the hyperglycemia is going to be prolonged, so prolonged hyperglycemia causes a disorder which is called diabetes mellitus. So it's diabetes mellitus, in which there will be the loss of glucose through urine. So this prolonged hyperglycemia results into diabetes mellitus, and this diabetes mellitus is associated with loss of glucose through urine. And apart from that, it also results into the formation of ketone bodies as well. All right. So harmful compounds. These are actually the harmful compounds. So loss of glucose through urine, along with that, formation of harmful ketone bodies. So this was about the entire endocrine function of the pancreas. So in this video lecture, we have seen the entire details of the pancreas, its localization, the function of its exocrine parts, and the function of its endocrine part as well. Thank you.